All right, I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Warrenville Public Library District. It's Wednesday, May 15th, and it is 7 p.m. I'm going to do a roll call. Trustee Warren.
Present.
Trustee Schmidt.
Present.
Trustee Pika.
Present.
Trustee Lazan.
Here.
And Trustee DeRocher is here, along with Executive Director Jason Stillman and a whole host of fabulous department heads.
Oh,
Let's begin with our agenda. I think we can make a change. We do not need to go into, oh, there is no closed session here. All right, need it. It's not there. Okay, so could I have a motion for our agenda?
Move we accept the agendas read and existing.
And a second. Okay, so motion was made by Trustee Warren and seconded by Trustee Lazan. All in favor?
Aye.
Right, the agenda is approved. We don't have any presentations or public comments. Oh, Jan, Trustee Richardson joined us at 7:01. All right, we did have some correspondence from our fabulous law offices.
We did. So it was a new law regarding website accessibility for units of local government. So there's lots of time to comply. So I want to learn more about it. I haven't read a whole lot about it yet, but we'll have to be making sure, which I think Kathy and David have been working on that. So I think we're probably in pretty good shape already, but we have to verify what the requirements are and make sure that we are accessible. Yeah. Or what's
so this is it's PC related, correct?
Yes. So our website, and the tricky bit is I think it also wants any folks you contract with to also be accessible. So that is, I'm not 100%. I need to read more about it.
Problematic because you can't control what they do.
Right, because we use Communico for the website. We hopefully Swan is going to be, the catalog is going to be making sure that the catalog is accessible. So even third party that we use need to be doing this as well. So they will want to be doing it because if they don't want to lose business from all the libraries, then they need to be. So we have, I think, for entities that have less than 50 people, we have until 2027 to comply. So we've got time.
Right.
But there's also, I think there have been 2 libraries in the suburbs that have been contacted by somebody in Michigan who apparently is, I don't know the exact details, I think wanting, I don't know if it's a class action, some sort of lawsuits about their websites not being accessible. So even if we might have until 2027 officially to be in compliance, I think it is in our best interest to
so
learn more about it.
Example of not being.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is maybe it has to be audio accessible as well as visual, and the size. That's what I was going to say.
Images need to have alternative text. So if you're using a screen reader and it goes over the image, it either has something to skip the image altogether or has something that will read out what the image is.
Oh, okay, that's a big burden there.
Like if it's just as reading the file name, that is not very accessible because that's not telling you what
it's in the file.
Right. What the photo is a photo of.
Okay.
It should be descriptive.
It could be a very expensive.
It could be. I know what we do. Okay. Well,
So,
we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
We're going to say something, Kath?
Good job. Good job for AI.
Sure. Yeah.
It probably give an example of what they just call the plugin on their website, and I know Paul had sort of got inspiration from another company. So if you go in the very right corner, See that little symbol there on the bottom, lower right? So if you pop that up, you can start clicking away, like, I can't read that from here, but if you were to move like to off, like, you can read it, like, you can see that, like, some of the background is getting better.
I see.
And then even move a little further down, Jay, so those ones up top are kind of like packages of enhancements. Where you can scoop down, right, and click on or off any of those, and then you can make your own adjustments as you go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's, I can see.
And
Like over,
would it be, marketing communication to do this or Duncan to do this?
oh, gee.
I
Give the answer might be yes.
Comprehensive approach. The part of the people here who, do a lot of work on our stuff. Although something like that would probably be the responsibility of the person who handles the website. I guess, but I'm all ears. I'm open to suggestions, but I will say, Geneva Library is well ahead of the game. Well ahead. If you do a random audit of other libraries, of municipalities, of other government entities, you're not going to be finding this.
Okay.
There are other enhancements that some have done in different ways to their website. And like David is literally little by little kind of working on ours with contrast stuff, embedding the names of what an image might be on ours, that kind of stuff. So there are little things that we are doing.
Okay.
But that is a really cool example. And again, like if I'm not seeing it there on the left, but like you can just see like backgrounds and pictures will change.
Well, if you ever do, Kathy, when you get to the point where you're like, okay, we're gonna do this whole series of changes, it would actually be great if you could walk us through the changes.
Sure. But,
or just enhancements.
right. You'll hear more about this because we have, Jason and I have had a few casual conversations. We really need to look at our website is housed, so to speak, in our community code. I mean, there are lots of other options to pull it out of there. They have, put a plug-in into ours. Assuming communal code can even handle that. I think from that other library you were looking at.
Didn't you say that Geneva is using Communico?
Yeah, that is one. So should we, but I don't know what module, like, there might be another investment that needs to be made.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that we have some lead time, because if it's an investment, then we're gonna have to budget for it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have not delved into this at all. It's there though.
Okay.
Are there published guidelines of specifics at this time?
Sure, like the website. Appearance, WAC. Website accessibility, what's the C? I don't know, guidelines. There are pages and pages and pages. It's interesting.
Well, and Jason mentioned early on that he was going to be looking into the law specifically to make sure we're at least adhering to what the law is asking for. And then we'll see what we do from there. Okay, great, thank you. Next thing is, we just did correspondence. We're on the consent agenda already.
Okay, unfortunately, I apologize for getting here late, but the regular board meeting closed session has to be pulled off. There's some errors in it that have to be corrected.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So that would have to be done next month, if that's okay. Okay, so then I'll read, so that's going to be removed. Item C.
Okay.
And so D becomes C. So consent agenda for Wednesday, May 15th. Meeting of the Board of Trustees. Item A is approved minutes of the April 17th, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting. Item B, approved minutes of the April 17th, 2024 regular board meeting. And item C, receive and file financial report for April 2024.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as modified.
Second. All right.
Who seconded?
Motion was made by trustee Warren and seconded by trustee Lazan. We're going to take a voice vote. Trustee Stowe.
That would be roll call if we're going by name.
Oh, you're
Voice
right.
vote is.
Sorry, I do it opposite.
That's okay.
Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson. Aye. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee DeRocher votes aye. All right, next on the agenda is our regular agenda. If I could have a motion for item 8A.
I move that we pay invoices in the amount of $59,166.55 for the period of April 18, 2024 through May 15, 2024, including electronic payments and checks number 9926 through 9975. Checks number 9952, 9957, and 9958 are voided. Had a bad day.
All right, seconded. Okay, so the motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Richardson. Trustee Lazan. Aye. Trustee Richardson. Aye. Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher votes aye. All right, we're on to item 8B.
I move that we transfer $150,000 from the commercial checking account to our operating checking account.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Pika and seconded by trustee Warren. And we're going to take a roll call vote. Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Richardson. Aye. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
And trustee DeRocher votes aye. All right, we're going to move on into item 9, our second draft of the fiscal year 25 working budget. Take it away, Jason.
All right. Well, not a whole lot changed from the first draft, but overall, the total budget did increase by $22,000, but mostly that was due to the special reserve. I'll get to that in a moment.
We're on page 20 on our agenda.
So let's see, I'll start with the corporate fund. That increased by $3,000, and that is mostly because we got the 2025 rate for IMR. And I was glad that I had budgeted a higher rate to begin with from our current year, because it did go up, but it went up just a teeny bit more than I had anticipated, and so that increased things by $3,000. So other things, everything else up until I got that number literally on Friday before I was wrapping this up for you. Otherwise, the numbers hadn't changed at all for the corporate fund. I had rearranged some things, but the final number had stayed the same. But I took the $10,000 that I'd allocated for the website consultant, because we are really, by the time our Communico contract is up, that's one more year further. So putting it in this year is really a little bit too early. So I took that $10,000, I put $1,000 into Hoopla.
Oh, thank you. Just for Barbara DeRocher.
And we put $6,000 to Libby Overdrive.
Oh, thank you. Also for Barbara DeRocher.
So that's 7,000 more total for ebooks, which is great. And then the remaining 3,000 we put towards public service adult programming. Because in the first draft, I had mentioned that Paul was planning a fan convention in spring of 2025. I had mentioned it, but I forgot to actually put the money. So 3,000 that we were planning for got pushed into that as well. So I left the $10,000 earmark for a strategic planning consultant. In the main report or director's report, I did recently the 3 sessions on the do-it-yourself strategic planning. And while lots of work, we've got to figure out how big or small we want to go, but I think it is all doable on our own. But I think it is reasonable, just in case, to leave a little bit of money there in case we want to hire an outside person, a neutral party, to facilitate a few of the meetings. We don't have to.
Well, is this
I think we
the
could do
time to
it.
talk about it, or do you want to wait until the director's report? I mean, I really think that we need $10,000 in our budget for it. I don't. I think I have a lot of confidence in you, Jason. So, and in our staff to facilitate whatever we need to
However,
facilitate.
it can be a placeholder.
Yeah, it
For
can,
the time
and
being,
you know, there might be
because the
that
budget
thing that
is
happens that we
10,000.
don't anticipate.
Exactly. Doesn't mean we have to spend it.
That thing.
I mean, again, I'm confident in Jason too, and the fact that he went to that special class or seminar. And it's just a matter that, again, we don't know what's on the horizon that we might need, and maybe we might only need 5, but you know, we don't know what a consultant might cost for the services we're gonna ask for either. I mean, my experiences from the last time we did it, things have only gone up and cost more.
Yeah.
So,
I think we should just leave it as is.
Okay, well, I was, you know, a little worried about the expenditure increase.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's.
I could modify that line for the consultants to just be 7,000, and that takes care of that 3,000 increase from my friend.
But what do we think, friends?
Balance that out.
Well, as I've stated in the past, the budget is just a guideline, and just something to get us started. Just because we're showing a deficit doesn't mean we're going to have one. And we have the money accounted for. If we need to pull it from Peter to pay Paul, that's gonna happen. And I think we just let it go for now, take this one and be done with it, and we can move on as things arise.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. I think.
Any other thoughts?
Sounds good.
Sound good? Are we okay? All right, we're just gonna leave it be then.
And my thought with that is, I guess I'm always feel like it's better to have it there in case we do want to spend it, but my hope is we won't spend it. In which case, then we have underspent for the year. We've got some savings.
And that's good.
So,
Under budget. A wonderful thing.
A wonderful thing.
okay.
Something we could put on our newly enhanced website.
So anyway, so
Everybody could read it.
so that's for the corporate fund. For the special reserve fund, there was 2 increases. So one was I had $5,000 in there for a Discovery Room Interactive, but after being at PLA, one of the vendors did big, showy interactive things, and I know they have talked about, excuse me, a light bright-ish wall, and they had one on there, and so looked on their website. Very expensive, so it was like 16,000 and change.
Holy
Plus,
moly.
you know, you need shipping. I think it was mostly just plugins, so I don't think there'd be a lot of installation. But so anyway, so I had 5,000 earmarked. I moved it up to 20. That's only one vendor, so we would definitely want to shop around to see what other options there are, and hopefully we can find something that is cheap. But I think the idea is really cool. I think it would be, people would love it, the kids would love it. It would make a big impact. It'd be the idea that to replace the salt wall. Yes. So it would be a bright change out of items. So, but I want to make sure that we have enough for it. My hope would be that we wouldn't actually.
Is that an emerging technology or an emerging activity that is being adopted, which means that it might go down as the years go by? Or is this something that
It's been around for a little while. There's several libraries that have.
Sneaker has one.
Downers Grove has one.
There's a
Some of them have.
for the Naperville, the Children's Museum has something. And that's constantly used.
Yeah.
I
mean, we all remember using light brights when we were kids, right? They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, the Wheaton Library has a tabletop light bright thing that you can manipulate and mess around, you put different tubes in it and they turn different colors. It's interesting. I can't see that costing system.
No, they had different sizes, and I was
Yeah,
finding one that would match the same size as the current health wall. So we could always go smaller, and then it would be cheaper, but.
I don't want to go too tall.
No, but also I feel like at least the one that I saw at PLA, like the pegs were fairly big. So if you only had like a 2 foot by 2 foot wall, like I don't know how many pegs you can actually fit in. So I want to make it worth spending the money as well. Well, not necessarily breaking the bank for it. So
Does it expand readily?
does it expand?
Expand so that you could add side panels?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
Okay,
But
good.
so I had done that if that means your approval, and then I just put a note in there. I didn't add any money for it, but some of the chairs in the discovery room were also showing some wear on the arms and edges. Which hopefully maybe we can figure out something to do with it, because the chairs themselves are still in perfectly good shape. It's just the upholstery that's
So is it a possibility to just get new upholstery?
possible. So we will look into it this coming year.
That costs us as much. Yeah.
Right, I have heard that. I've never actually looked into it, so I don't know, but I've heard people say that, like, if you're gonna reupholster it, you might as well buy a chair. But library furniture is also not cheap, so
Yes, we found that out when we did our,
I imagine we did.
we did our renovation.
Replacement piece for,
Yeah.
that would be something Lee can help with over a course of time. I'd be interested to know.
In any case, if the price would be the same, it would be more sustainably responsible to just reholster.
Good point.
But I didn't put that in the budget for this year, so we're just something to
There'd be
think
some
about.
left in the 20.
Yes, there we go. So the other item was under the automation purchase. The 2 self-check machines are starting to get old. Duncan doesn't think they're necessarily gonna break down this coming year, but he got a quote for one just in case, because with computers you never know. So figure it's better to have that on the books. But again,
60% now.
it's
so
one of
we can go
those-
without those.
we want to have the money budgeted for it in case we need it, but ideally we think we could probably get by another year without actually having to spend.
We'll get out the super.
Getting a lot of use, that's for sure. So, yes, I make sure that it can be used. All right, any further comments from the board members about our budget?
We do not need it.
We don't.
No, it's just information this time, so next month.
Next month.
Oh,
Yeah.
next month.
The
It's
final.
June. Okay,
This is just the second draft, so.
yes, it says information. It wasn't ADA assessment. There you go.
If you have any other suggestions or comments, but I can. Would it be just? Oh, would it be decide on the consultants? Should I modify it to 7,000 or keep it at the?
We're gonna keep it
Just
as a
leave
it
it
at
on. Just leave it as is.
Okay.
We could be doing that for another 6 months if we start analyzing.
All right, well, thank you, Jason. We're gonna move on to the director's report, which is on page 34. And Jason just mentioned that he had done this DIY strategic planning workshop, and sounds like it could be a good way to go. We just
Indeed.
need to. So what are you thinking at this point about, like, when will the board be talking about what we want to do you think?
I'm hoping to draw up just an outline to present to you to discuss next month or two. Maybe.
Okay.
Along with the fact that with them, hopefully we'll be, evaluating, going over the current plan. For review as well. But yeah, I want to discuss with you all what you would like the process to be. Okay, you can go all in or do it a little bit smaller scale, but one way or another, I think it's important to get all of your input, get staff input, and then see what community input we can get. Some stakeholders, and then go from there. So, but I want to, align that what I think I would like to do with, or do a couple of the other options, or scaling up or down. That would be that we can discuss. So hopefully in June, if not It's already May. I'm having, my brain is still in April. So hopefully in June, I'll have that for you. If not, in July.
Oh, good. That'd be good. We don't wait too long.
No.
Right. Other things you want to highlight from your report?
Have you all seen Buck?
Of course.
Oh, my gosh.
Is he great?
Beautiful.
I missed.
He did not weigh much. Well, I can pick him up. It was fine.
I just.
I mean, you saw the photo in the last
Yes.
month
And it
or the
doesn't-
month before. Just somebody is holding him up. So he's very light.
Excellent.
He's so cool.
So it was great. Fernando from the Mexican Cultural Center came and helped us out, and it was good. He had the idea of, because he was just kind of hanging very vertically, and he suggested doing additional fishing line around his tail feather butt and hoisting him up a little bit. So now he looks like he is greeting you as you walk in the door. And it's great.
Oh, very cool.
I bet the kids are there.
Oh, my grandson loved him.
So I mean, you can see there's a lot of positive Facebook comments. So,
Yes.
Very cool.
I'm so glad you shared all those.
Mhm.
so it has been great. It's a wonderful addition. I know I was obsessing a little, worrying about where was the perfect location for it, and in the end, I think it's
Perfect.
the perfect location.
I love that he's holding a book.
Yes.
It's just great.
Let's see, a couple things that were not in my report that I just want to bring up. We are, because the summer concerts start next month, so don't forget that. But Amy Emery of the city reached out saying they're trying to streamline some of their permitting process. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think what used to happen maybe for, say, the food trucks was every single visit or event that they went to, they had to get a permit each time. So they've tried to streamline it so that they just get a permit for the year, and then they just have to renew the permit the next year. So with that in mind, she was hoping to try and promote, events for food trucks to come to. So she suggested it to us for concerts. She gave us a list of all the food trucks that she had. So Paul has just today finished lining up a food truck for every single one of the concerts.
Is it gonna be like a round robin or the same one?
There's a couple of repeats, but there's 4 different.
Nice.
That is awesome.
That's great.
You can have a Dory
Excellent.
in July.
What's the name of it?
Pizza on Beatles.
I think
Any ice cream?
No ice cream. They're all hearty meals. That you can-
There is a new company that is a bicycling ice cream thing, and I have to get the name of it, but they are gonna be in Warrenville and Naperville this summer, starting this summer, I believe, so I will get that information for you. Because it just, you don't know.
Yeah, that would be great for her to stop by.
Be the ice cream you want if you write
Yeah.
that.
So, I'll have that information.
Well, that's great. Great update.
So come for the concerts, bring an app.
Mhm.
Again, as I mentioned, my brain is still in April, but we were halfway through May. The 4th of July or 3rd of July parade is coming up quickly. So I wanted to let you all know, I ended up being in the parade again. So hoping several of you would be interested in joining us for the parade.
I'll carry the banner again.
Okay. Got at least
We usually do.
I'm actually gonna be in town. I'm never here. for
I'm never
this.
here either, and I'm gonna be here too.
I'm gonna be in town. That'll be really fun to do it. I've only done it once before.
Maybe the grandson,
So
maybe the
that's,
grandson.
sounds like we've got at least 4,
I have to check.
5. Connie?
I'll consider it. Yeah, my sisters are gonna be in. We're cleaning out my mom's storage locker.
Oh, you're gonna need a break from that.
Yeah.
They're welcome to join you.
Yeah, so I'm 64
Big
weeks.
stuff from the.
I'm gonna
Sure.
try.
No, I don't know.
You can stand up straight.
We may have
Yeah.
to have someone else.
I don't have
step
to
in
carry
as the
manure this
handy
time.
man.
That's why I had to put you through the horse.
All right. 5 and
It's
a-
fun.
5 out of 7. Excellent. Well, I'll send you more details coming soon. So, but that'll be great if supposed to be.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Should be
5.6 out of 7, if I heard it right.
I loved your report on, all the, things that, PLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear more of a report about that from you and Mary Kelly. I mean, a lot is written, but I like to hear the enthusiasm.
I mean, there was, I don't know if you read through it all,
I
if
did.
your eyes glazed at a certain point, there was just a lot of overlap, I think, between a lot of the things I went to about just, you know, trying to, I mean, I highlighted one in particular closer to the end. The communicating during controversy, how to lead before you lead.
Yeah.
So that was all about, you know, if you've got your value statement and you have your mission and vision, like speaking to points, whether it's to the community or whether it's internally, like, here's what our vision and culture statement are like. So, you know, follow this, like, I can applaud you because you have followed this guideline, or I can say we need to course correct because we need to follow this guideline, or say to the community, we have made this decision because we are following this guideline because this is what we have established. So I just thought that was really nice. Like a lot of the things that were in that I heard in a lot of other sessions, but I thought the session was just really nice, kind of making it concise. Like if we have this out, this framework, then it makes it a lot easier theoretically to communicate to people. So I thought that was neat.
I really like this holiday gift nook idea.
I did too.
What a really unique idea. I think it's great.
And it spoke to me just even as we were doing last summer with the, when we had the soup cans from the Warhol thing as the donations, and as we were taking donations over to the food pantry and seeing how busy the food pantry was.
It's very busy.
That made me think that maybe something like this would be a neat thing to try. But I think, I know it's only May, but I feel like planning something like that, given from what I heard, I think we couldn't do it this year if we want, but it's, you know, I haven't talked about it with anybody else yet, but see if others were interested in putting in the effort for it. But to me, it sounds like a neat idea and something that might be worth doing. I think requires a fair amount of planning ahead of time.
So I was curious about the one acronym and the 3 must-have activities for new employee training. What's DEIAB? I'm pretty sure I know what DEI is, but I wasn't sure about the AB part.
Oh, right.
Accessibility and belonging.
Okay.
Can
you repeat that one more time?
DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility, and belonging.
Okay.
It's generally what that acronym means.
Yeah, I had it there.
Sorry.
No, thank you.
All right.
So there was a lot of that thrown in across a lot of the sessions. Unfortunately, I feel like one of the takeaways from the conference was that librarians are tired and stressed, given the state of the world and all the things that are happening. So there was you know, having trauma informed responses for staff, for community, things like that. But it was really good. So like I said, I highlighted the 4 that stood out to me the most. I really liked the idea of the building in more the training one for onboarding new employees was, of course, it was coming from a library that has, you know, several full-time staff that all they do is hire and onboard people. So, you know, you've got to figure out how to scale an idea. But they do like literally like a whole week of like orientation before anybody starts learning about their actual job. So I don't know if that's feasible in you know, our small place, but just the idea of like, you know, we take tours and, you know, talk about our employee handbook, but they, you know, went through more of like, here's what our, you know, our vision and mission and our culture statements are, and doing a lot more of the DEI training up front before you even get to some of your job responsibilities. So it was just, again, just things to think about and mull over and
Maybe ways
see
to
what we,
incorporate some.
Yeah.
Mix them in together
see what we could modify.
while you're doing the job.
I think your summary is very well done. And I have to say, I like the t-shirt. Your picture.
Oh.
I've
Thank you.
seen those phrases before, but never on a t-shirt. Well done.
My wife and I have discovered a website called Piper and Ivy. They sell a lot of reading and book related t-shirts.
There.
So I got that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do like that t-shirt.
Somebody commented, how did you get the conference hall to be so empty?
Yeah.
My wife wanted to exercise, so after everybody was done for the day, this is probably at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. We were walking up and down the conference hall.
Oh, my.
So there was nobody there.
No, I'm just thinking of something.
I thought maybe just read that. Okay, I'm gonna stay back while I take the picture.
Mary Kelly, did you have any other things you wanted to?
I enjoyed, learning about, the need to step up for people, even if you are not like them. So, I saw Black Men in Libraries was a very powerful, probably the most powerful session I had attended. And just the takeaway that I had was that you can still show up for people even if you aren't a BIPOC individual. The director for Cleveland Public Library, his name fails me at the moment, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But he had said how somebody had mentored him while he was growing up. And I believe she might have been Asian, but he talked about like not starting graduate school because he didn't have the money. And she, you know, she talked to him and she ended up putting a check in his mailbox. And he saw it and he's like, I can't accept this. She's like, no, you can and you will. And he did. And now look at where he is. So, I mean, it was very moving and a lot of stories like that. It was very powerful, but it was nice to see Connie there. I got to have a meal with Connie, got to sit in the program with Connie. So that was neat too, getting to network with people from the surrounding Chicago area and bigger nationwide libraries. It was really exciting too. The amazing things that are going on.
Right, Donnie, you want to give us any of your
I
thoughts?
did write a report and
I forgot to
maybe
email that up. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, so it was super and there's pictures in my report when it gets out, you guys will see it. But I was really super impressed with the keynote speakers, and the first one was a man named Shola Richards, and he had a great quote. He said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was, you know, and then he went on and questions he asked, and you and I picked up the same thing. As you're approaching your work, ask yourself, is it kind, is it true, is it necessary? And then he went further and dealt more deeply with that. And the one thing about kind that I really took away was, you know, because a lot of people say that's nice. And nice has all kinds of, it could be sarcastic, it could be, you know, it's a value judgment kind of. But he said, when you are kind, there's no question about what your actions are. And so, reading my report here, it says, I believe the Warrenville Public Library staff exhibits this on a daily, hourly, and minute-by-minute basis. Because I sit there, you know, doing the puzzle, and it's like conversations, private. But, you know, it's very much true. Yeah. So anyway, so that was a really good keynote speaker. And then I was lucky, I signed up to go to lunch with an author, and her name was Bettina Love, and powerful woman. And she's a Black woman, and she's very concerned about school reforms and how the way we make book access for Black children. And so anyway, this is her book. If anybody wants to read it, I'm happy to share it and sign it, all that jazz. And then there was a second part of it, the lunch, and it was all on graphic novels, which I read maybe 2. And this woman had written, she was known for writing graphic novels, and they wanted to make an audiobook out of the graphic novel. And so they were exploring
the importance of the choice of who you choose for your speaker or speakers, because they will bring to life the images that no one has seen. So I'm sorry for my damage. So it was really, that was, I don't read, I haven't read audiobooks or listened to audiobooks much, and I'm going to.
Because now we have more money in the budget.
Right, well, I actually met with Jason, and I was asking about all these different things, so I'm gonna learn more about it, because I don't even know.
I highly recommend graphic novels and audiobooks.
Yeah.
Both.
Good thing on urban libraries being the cornerstone of democracy. And that was powerful. You guys can read this on your own, but I'm just picking out a couple of things. Oh my God. So the last one that I heard, her name was Mary Anise Hegler. And she brought together, her grandmother was involved in civil rights movement and how powerful the civil rights, it was like, we've got to change things, it's horrible, this is a really bad situation. And so there was a sense of urgency and a sense of die hard, work hard on this. And that was her grandmother's era. Fast forward, now she's in this era, and the die hard issue right now is climate change and species extinction. We are losing species left and right. And she said she worked for a major environmental organization, and she said, I'm not an activist, I'm an advocate. And she explained her thoughts on the difference between those two and how important it was for different voices to come out. So this is a book to children on that issue. And this is a novel. I mentioned it to Tom and I got back and he goes, well, let's order it. This is her novel that just came out May 1st. I just started to read it, but the library got it, our library got it. So that's that. So, but it was moving because it was like all my worlds colliding. Being a grandparent, caring about it, and being an environmental advocate, and being protector of democracy and all that stuff. It was really good. So that's mine. And we'll send this out to everyone. Yeah.
I'm so glad you had a good experience.
I did, and I felt honored. I met two other trustees out of thousands of people. So it was an honor to they all. And the two that I met are from Bellwood, Maywood or Bellwood, right here. Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of trustees there. And I'm excited about our 3D printer. There was some 3D printing things going on. There's a picture in here. And I'll show you. So that's that. Oh, there's two books I got that I don't know when and if I'll ever get to read them. And so if anybody's looking for something to read, there's two books back there. I just figured we could pass them around to each other.
Thank you.
That's it. I'm sorry I took time.
It's all right. We we were talking about the PLA, so I wanted to do it all at once. We're going to move on with our agenda and go to the department head reports. Do any board members have any comments on any of the department head reports? It's always amazing to me every single month how much is going on here all the time.
Hey, Jackie, what happened to the mention?
How long? They weren't in the cabinet. I have a little clue. They were very, very expensive.
That's why I'm asking that. And I don't know that you can always use that much else.
Because of the fire department had to come in here. We have two different sprinkler heads, and there has to be a wrench for each type of sprinkler. We were not going to pass through the fire department so we got those wrenches.
Goodness.
Okay.
Are the different heads identified by color or some kind of code so that you can match up the wrench? So
no, but I think they know, and they know where the wrenches are. So if they had to come in here, they grab them.
And when I just because I can't imagine this. When did you last see them? I mean,
I never had seen them. I didn't even know where they were.
Okay, now so they could have been gone for 20 years.
They could have. I mean, who knows?
They may never have been there in the first place, even as well.
They're down in the mechanical room. I'm not gonna tell anybody we're there, so they can't teach them.
I was gonna make a record song. Just blew my mind when I read it.
Oh, you should have heard me. Jason could attest how I was reacting when they got the proposal for it. I was like, well, what can we do? We have piano.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The things you learn.
It's a packet.
Every day.
All right, any other trustee comments on the, department head reports?
Hey Kathy, are you, it sounds to me like you are ahead of schedule on the local implementation. Because I think at one point you had mentioned that we might be all done by July. Are there more things left that need to be done? Yeah, so it's still a work in progress. Couldn't tell when you.
You will hear it from me. And
I'll hear it at my house.
the next up, I mean, we prioritize things. Next up, probably the next report, you'll be hearing more about transition in our science kits, which will now be STEAM kits, our discovery packs, and our pluses. All need.
Again, nothing critical. I'm just curious because I saw all your thank yous and I thought, oh, maybe they're done. Can't believe it. Thank you.
Speaking of new logo. I don't know, the beach ready to have seen the notes at self-check or at our member services desk. Until we run out, we are offering any of our library members who checked out even one item to get this handy dandy little pack with two pairs of earplugs that we're planning to lessen the sound of all of the cicadas. And it's on the second page of Reading Matters as well. Like we are promoting it next to the cicada program that we're going to have on June 5th. So we've got these we're giving out. We're also giving them out at programs, and I have a bunch reserved for the cicada program. So, but at least the pack has our new logo on there. And there's a beach ball. So here we go. So we bought some beach balls that we plan to give out at a few of the concerts this summer.
Good idea.
We'll try them at one. We'll see if in fact the balls stay in the grassy area and aren't bopping the performers on the head, like or some other.
Yeah,
right.
Wishful.
I saw them shooting Nerf guns at the performers last year, so.
Oh, we'll also be doing a t-shirt giveaway at some of the concerts as well.
Would you get one of those slingshots?
Did you get a t-shirt?
Oh, I thought it. I so thought about it, but
You gotta get the cannon, the t-shirt cannon.
From
the Post District, borrowed from the Post District.
I am a problem remediator in another life, and the thought of shooting those off and nailing somebody in the head, no. I want to go.
But it's just.
Thank you, Kathy. You're always thinking of something. All right, we're gonna move on. If there's any other comments on the department head reports. Okay. Gonna keep going. Wow, look at those fancy things that were made on. Okay. Into John by all these committee reports. Oh, here's the safety committee.
And
I
I
was
was cool to have that.
It was nice to have that.
Yes.
I did read through it.
That's something you were doing.
I'm reading all this. I'm like, oh, we should be thinking about this at the school. Like, oh, there's another thing we should be thinking about. And there's
Paul wrote those notes. I thought we needed a note taker at each meeting. Otherwise, you would just see my small snapshot of some stuff that was happening. So moving forward, we will have everyone will take turns taking notes of the meeting, so then those will be the notes that will appear in that.
Thank you.
I think it's
That's
great
really
that
helpful.
you're keeping us informed of the direction you're going with that approach, so thank you.
Yeah, so I was just, I mean, I love that that you guys are doing this, and I like getting the report and seeing, and some of it is, I guess, with looking at the issues with, say, CPR and Narcan and the AED. I mean, some of it is, I feel like somehow we need to go, you know, say smaller steps and just maybe get everybody comfortable with one aspect before starting to move on to the next one. And because, I mean, I know some of it you could say, we don't want to have an emergency like that in the library. It would just be, you know, again, I would think it would sort of empower people if they're able to help, but getting them comfortable with, say, just being able to do CPR, or just being able to do, you know, use the AED, or just being able to, you know, do Narcan or be able to recognize it. But rather than trying to do it all at once, or, you know, just great, 1 month you're doing CPR and the next month it's the next item. And, you know, maybe it's going to take a little longer rollout, maybe a year to get for people to get comfortable and see, you know, the possibility of being able to do CPR.
I imagine it will be a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's, yeah.
But I like that we're considering it, just knowing that it could save somebody's life, and, you know, at least till first responders can get there.
Yeah, there are a lot of steps in all of those items that you mentioned in terms of.
Well, even the other steps, I mean, even, you know, whether it's just knowing where the first aid kit is and being able to, you know, people don't even just put a Band-Aid on.
And some of those topics, it's going to require everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to be getting, or the repercussions for the library could be substantial. So,
Well, that's why we are proceeding with caution. We have talked amongst ourselves many times about what are our liabilities.
Right.
Even in pulling out the first aid kit.
right, you have to be cautious with it.
Yes.
So giving out a Band-Aid, and I can tell you this from experience, can be more than you ever thought you could have. Very well done.
But definitely for some of the larger items, I've reached out to Roger and got
Very good.
Like how did-
advice about, you know, making sure that, you know, whether it's the Narcan or CPR or the AED. So, you know, they've asked about, you know, what about the Good Samaritan law? So that only applies if staff are comfortable either doing it, you know, good faith or not, you know, charging for our service. But I think most importantly was the idea of training.
Yes.
So no staff person should use the AED machine which we don't have yet. Probably will take a while before we get there, but no one should use that until they have had training, and ideally just from the library. Like, even if they've got it somewhere else, that's kind of out of our control. So the idea is really we're going to restrict our staff, like only if you feel comfortable and only if you've received our training should you do any of those things. Otherwise, just, you know, work together, all emergency services that they're going to come and take care of it. So he said, as long as you do all those things, then everybody is fine. But if you have, you know, you haven't taken the training and you step in to do it, then that's where there's going to be a liability.
I mean, luckily, emergency services is very, very,
Close.
very close.
Yeah.
And they are extremely good at responding. But I mean, I've had training in both CPR and AED so many times as a teacher, and I still don't know about my level of comfort, but I think if pushed, having done it so many times, I would do it. But, you know, I've done at least 10 trainings, you know, over the years. Because I mean, once you start a rhythm, well, it's different with schools, but you have to do it every 2 years. So it's like, that's a lot of training.
But I think what Jason's talking about, the key there is training provided by the library. Because if there's people and somebody, I don't know how to say this, does not react, the option for us to say, well, they were not our policy is they have to be trained before they can step in. It would eliminate somebody trying to sue the library for not acting.
Okay.
I know.
I don't know that I would
says-
stand around in this library and watch somebody and not
Well-
respond, having had training. I don't know that I wouldn't ask the question. Can I do this? I would just do it. And that's
Yeah.
what we're trained to do.
Right, but he has a legitimate point about the training from the
I
library.
mean, I think it's more from the staffing standpoint,
Yeah,
like, I don't think
yeah.
it's preventing anybody just
Right. but
standing there going,
staff-
I have CPR training or whatever training, and they jump
Well,
in.
and that's a good Samaritan,
Right,
but now you have staff doing
Staff.
it, you have to have the staff trained through the library, because
Right.
it's staff now.
To
to
avoid
protect the
someone from
library.
so
saying,
our legal
how
standpoint.
come none of them step forward to
Liability.
do it?
Yeah.
And you have that leg to stand back.
So I was just curious, how is this issue something other libraries are looking into? Do they look into staff training for emergency purposes? I mean, so it's,
They do, at my last library I got us a grant to get a AED machine. And then we had the fire department come give us CPR and AED training, coupled together, so. But again, I mean, just because you got that doesn't mean you feel comfortable, like you
Right.
said. A big part of that is repetition.
Mhm.
You've just done it once. You're probably not gonna feel super comfortable in doing it, but if you've had the training multiple times. Or have some sort of background or something, then you're more likely to do. The AED machine is fairly idiot proof, like it pretty much tells you what to do.
Right.
And it can't hurt anybody, so there's not a whole lot of worry there, but regardless, I don't want people using it, but they haven't been trained. So,
Right.
But no, so a lot of libraries do that. I've had multiple groups, I just haven't gotten around to responding and coordinating it yet, but there are multiple groups in the suburbs who provide Narcan and provide the training for free. So it's just a matter of figuring out the right group to work with and then coordinate with them, so. And again, I think Narcan is again one of those where it is designed that no matter what it, like, if you need it, it will help you. If you don't need it, it won't hurt you. So, and I think those are the best sorts of ways to respond to this, knowing that you aren't going to hurt somebody. But anyway, all those things are, planned for, not necessarily gonna throw all those things in at the same time.
Right, oh, yeah.
It'll, there's multiple people to work with, and like I said, we don't have an AED machine. They're expensive, so it's gonna, at some point,
Right,
looking
right.
to see if I can, the same place I got it at the last place, it's still offering grants, and see if I can get one, but that is this time, so
It's on the wish list.
it's.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Heather. We're gonna move on to the president's report. Our next board meeting is June 19th. And we're meeting at a regular time of 7 p.m. We've already heard from Rick that he's not available to be there. Does anyone else know if they're not able to come on June 19th? All right, good. We'll have a full group then. Okay. That's it for me. Let's talk about the treasurer's report.
Looks good.
Everything looks good.
Yeah, and a few other things I've discussed, but they'll be later.
Okay. All right, secretary, everything looks good.
except for the closed session, and but we're taking care of that.
Okay.
To
I don't
that point, are you gonna have it on the agenda next month?
Right,
again?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions.
I don't think we have a committee report, do we, about personnel?
No.
Okay, we're all done with that. All right. Trustee comments, is that what you want? to do?
Yeah, so first of all, my Steve went to that one class program you had here with the decarbonization that was done from the Citizens Utility Board. And there was a lot of good information in there and a lot of things that we have to start considering and looking into our budget. The state, there's some major changes taking place as far as like, they're getting rid of natural gas in the state. So it's going to be affecting like, we have a boiler system that's how old? We don't want to take out a loan to buy a new one if in 5 years we're not gonna be able to get gas for it. So there's a lot of these things, and I don't know how some of this stuff is going to be affecting like the library. I mean, they were mainly talking about homeowners and like your house, you know, I mean, the heat pumps, there's money coming from the federal government to help people do this. Your home has to have a sealed envelope. There's all kinds of money with all these things going on. And a lot of this stuff is going to be happening, and we need to start looking into how it's going to affect the library, affect our budget. What do we need to get ready for this? I mean, they're talking the gas prices will go up to like 40, they'll increase 45% beforehand, because as more people get off the gas, they need so much money to maintain the system until it's gone. So it's going to be affecting us, you know, somehow. We have to find
I thought
out
it was
what.
just new construction. I didn't know that they were basing it out for everything.
No, it's everywhere.
I like cooking with gas. I'm really sad.
Well, and that's, you know, there's a huge number of children that develop asthma because of your gas stove, because of gas stoves. Because there's benzene and all kinds of other nasty chemicals that come out from the gas. You know, and you take an induction stove, you're greatly reducing even your cooking time with induction stoves. You don't have the heat when you take the pot off, it's cold. But of course your electric stoves are different, but I mean, that uses magnets and electric, but it's going to be some big changes coming through the state. And I don't quite know when, how it's going to affect us.
I mean, you're absolutely right. We should look into it and see how it'll affect us. And
yeah, and what we're going to
but I can't imagine that that is something that they're going to just be like, oh, next year.
No. I mean, next year there's going to be money.
So many people have gas stoves and use gas like that. And that, to me, that sounds like a 20 or 30 year sort of a rollout.
And starting next year, they're going to be giving money to homeowners to start these changes.
Okay.
In January 2025. So, I mean, it's something that we need to start. How are we going to be impacted? Any major projects that we have going on, are we going to be, you know, falling in line with that? So we don't want to be spending money to find out that it's going to be obsolete. You'd be surprised how fast 10, 20 years goes by.
I know, we've been here a while.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's going to be, you know, some of these things might affect our budget as well.
Very likely.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about in 20 years, you will not be able to buy a brand new car that is a gas combustible engine. So, I mean, if they are, yeah, I mean, they're giving money to put car chargers in your in your garage, which I mean, for us, it wasn't a big deal. The manufacturer put our charger in the garage. But, you know, a lot of homes, even to increase your electrical boxes and stuff, they were mainly talking about stuff that was homeowners. But I'd like to find out what's involved in places like the library. I mean, I've been a big advocate for us getting geothermal really bad. Yeah, because they would definitely take care of our air conditioning bill and everything else. And, you know, I don't know if we could how something like that would be working, you know, can we work with the city and do it in the space in between you know, but what's going to be happening and something we have to look into and really start figuring out what we're going to be needing, and with our planning, because you're planning on what the building's needing and, you know, these types of things, because of the age of the building, we need to start to really consider that stuff.
Can I piggyback?
Yeah.
Or is it appropriate to?
Sure.
So thank you for bringing that up. You're absolutely right. And you're also right in that, I was in Springfield, regarding the climate bills that are going through. And, the more immediate thing is new construction. That new construction has to be, or can't be, using gas. The other big thing is the transportation bill, and that is pushing for more accessibility for charging. So I think it'd be really cool if we had charging here at the
Yeah.
library. People come in here and work for a long time. And,
Yeah, it's a perfect place to have it.
We're gonna, I mean, I was in California in April and there are, because they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
In California, they're really trying to phase out, gasoline in California, really, really way faster than the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And there are chargers at all shopping malls.
Right.
At every grocery store. I mean, you pull up to Subway, it feels like there's a charger there. So, it'd be a good thing for us to do.
I
to
mean,
think about.
normally you don't need a charger. I mean, like, we get like, 300 miles before we have to charge the car. Which for all you want, I mean, you can go days without even charging your car. The only time it becomes a problem is on a road trip.
right.
But I think it would be a nice feature of
I
the
mean,
library to
We're here to
have.
serve the public, are we
Not
not?
like we're gonna have.
And
County
three,
has charges.
we're not gonna be free.
No.
Or two.
Just put a card in and you get so many.
Yeah, I don't know how the feasibility, how all that works. That's a big question that they gotta figure out, because you buy your gas, you buy your fuel. So somehow the community, should be a way to buy.
Your charge.
electric charge,
You swipe the card.
I think there is, I think it is.
but they don't have all of that. There, a lot of the places in the government places that have it, you just charge.
Yeah.
And there isn't swiping things, and the technology for the swiping stuff has to catch up with the need to do.
And that's with the other thing that, because some, like, they can't charge so much over what they're paying for the electric.
Yeah,
And some companies are really
big thing.
charging a lot of money. And then standardizing all of it. So all the plugs that, trying to get them all,
Yes.
everybody's car plug being standardized.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, and we'll definitely have to keep it on maybe something that we circle back to now and then, huh, Jason?
Yes.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. But I mean, I know that there's a lot of things that we, have to be considering as far as this building, the replacement.
Right.
So,
Right, and we don't want to get stuck,
Right.
putting a big investment in something that will be obsolete, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
don't know if there'll be any money for the buildings like this. Because all they talked about was the homeowners.
Imagine somewhere there. Probably. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of knowing where to look.
exactly. And apparently they have a lot of resources, that they even have companies that will put in they have names of companies that will put in the chargers, name of companies that will do the heat pumps, because we couldn't find anybody to put a heat pump in. When our furnace went out. Of course, it was also the middle of winter when it went out too, so we kind of desperate, but, and that's a big problem they're having is the trades people don't want to go for the trade for this stuff.
Okay, any other items for information or discussion?
I have a couple of quick things. One, I think I'll start with you, Ian. I hear tell that there is a new labor law where people cannot work more than 6 days in a row. Does that apply at all to us? Do we have anyone who works consecutive days like that? Because I know in the life I was involved in it, oh my God, he does work, because he's taking this day off and to help out with that. So I just wanted to make sure we're cognizant of that.
I don't think it's new.
No.
I don't know, it was
I've-
just
Yeah,
dinner,
it's
it
been
maybe
around.
the way it was introduced, it was not new, it was never followed before now, and that could be. And the other question I have, I believe, is for the personnel committee. Can you refresh my memory? I know Jason brought his goals. Did we approve them for the coming year? Do we need to approve them? I cannot remember. And it's in my
believe
notes.
Quick, I passed them out to you last
Yes.
meeting. I think you all said it was
Do
good,
we-
but do you want an official vote on it?
I don't know, do we need that or is it okay? I was fine with them, but
I don't think we actually have taken action on.
that
goals.
was my question. So there wasn't a problem that
We've given feedback on goals and I believe the feedback we gave last year that was that you were overly ambitious and so this year you pared back, and so, you know, we can
As
certainly
long as
give
we.
that kind of feedback.
Well, I know that according to the minutes, it said trustee DeRocher mentioned discussing goals at the next meeting. Director Stolman already had prepared some goals and the board was fine with the goals presented, so.
So we don't have to do, that's what I didn't see, a formal motion, I didn't know if we needed one, so.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it up. I think we're good. All right, I am ready for item 19. Oh,
I
you have something.
I have one item. It's very small, minor.
June 7th.
Are there specific treats or snacks that you all would like? Do you need snacks?
That's what we like.
Never eat it, it's the management team. So do we really need a treat, is our question.
I don't.
I mean.
We're happy to get you treats, but we'd want to make sure we're getting you treats that you like.
I forgot to look today, honestly, so.
It's a lot
Do you like the cheese?
I like
crackers in here?
yeah, because I don't eat sweet stuff. That's me.
Chocolate's always good. Yeah. I'm with Sandy.
Usually
Yeah.
I use me as a guideline, but I particularly like the cheese and crackers, especially if I don't have dinner, so.
Yeah, but it's nice if you're at a lunch.
Yeah.
It's, if you had a meeting at 6.
It's kind of nice that.
You know, the evolution of this board is kind of interesting because we all used to just rush here after work, and now many of us are retired, so we have time to eat before we come. So,
I think am I the only person that's working?
No,
I am.
and Jill,
Jill will qualify for employment status.
Yeah.
we have, I'm-
You want to?
Carry on, what we've been doing.
carry on.
It's nice to have leftovers for.
That's what I said, yeah. Don't tell.
I'm gonna have some.
I was gonna say,
Kim-
you like Fannie Mae turtles?
Yeah, if you show up with some ice cream, I will be all over that.
We don't get to come out on her hoopla.
Maybe I should show up with the ice cream.
Fannie Mae is a little more pricey.
I really want the money to go to Oopla and Overdrive, honestly. Okay, item 19, anybody? Anyone?
I move we adjourn the meeting for.
Second.
9:15.
Motion was made by trustee Schmidt and seconded by trustee Luzon. All in favor?
Go on.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
At 8:11 p.m.